Happy 2025. I'm Dillon.
I'm Ryan.
And did you know that we are about a quarter of the way through the 21st century? Might sound hard to believe. Seems like we just got started. But yeah, we're about 25 years into this current century.
Yeah.
So I think it's about time that we could say what are our favorite things from the 21st century so far. And we are going to start today with books and give you our 10 best favorite books from the 21st century so far. We both only get 10 picks, but we're going to go year by year in how we reveal them.
Yeah.
Just to go through the ages. It's too hard to rank like which one's the best.
Yeah, so we're not ranking these ones. These are the 10 best, and we're going to do them in chronological order.
Yeah, okay. So we have our list, but do you have any books from 2000?
I don't.
I have one.
Wow, you're right in there. It made it,
just in time.
Still holding out from the very beginning.
Right at the beginning of the turn of the century, Zade Smith released her debut novel, White Teeth, which is one of my favorite books.
Still haven't read it. I have your copy, I think, in my bookshelf, waiting to be read.
I know I've recommended it before. We did an episode on NW, but White Teeth is even better. Check it out. Okay, what
2001?
about 2001?
No.
I don't have anything.
2002?
I don't have anything.
2003, I have something.
I have something from 2003 as well. You should
I'll go first. 2003, my pick is Diary by Chuck Palahniuk.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I still need to read that one.
I think of the Palahniuk that I've read, I think that is my favorite. It's pretty close, but that one is my favorite one.
Interesting theme so far because you have recommended it, and I did find a copy of it. Haven't read it yet. Now I definitely need to. One of the best of the century? Well, from 2003 for me is the book Hardcore Zen by Brad Warner. This is a nonfiction book. It's a memoir about his life as a punk rock bassist, making Japanese monster movies and getting into Buddhism. One of my favorite books, for sure.
Yeah, I think what this is going to mean is these are our lists for each other that we must read these. If these are our top 10 from this century. And I haven't read that one either. I know you got our dad into reading those books by Brad Warner.
I think he's maybe read even more of his books than me at this point. He got really into it.
Worth reading for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, that's 2003. We both had one. 2004?
I have nothing.
No. 2005?
Nothing.
I have a 2006.
Okay.
My 2006 is Lisey's Story by
I
Stephen
have read
King.
this one.
Yeah. By Stephen King. Definitely very possibly my favorite Stephen King book.
Yeah,
it's kind of a love story too, So
yeah, a little bit unusual for King. I read it years ago, and I really liked it a lot too. I'm glad I read at least one of them because, like you said, I'm going to have to read all these. I
wonder if I'm going to have read one of yours. At least.
I'm wondering if we have any overlap, but maybe not. I don't have anything from 2006 or 2007.
Nope, no 2007.
I don't have anything from 2008.
Nope.
Or 2009.
Neither do I.
Okay, my next one is 2010.
Okay, go ahead. I don't have one.
Mine from 2010 is Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand. This is another nonfiction. It's the true story of Louis Zamperini, who was an Olympic runner, who then gets drafted into World War II and becomes stranded on the Pacific Ocean, captured by the Japanese as a prisoner of war. Very famous movie about it. Maybe you've seen the movie, but the book is even better. One of my favorites.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have some 2011.
I don't.
I have two from 2011.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And it's going to seem like I'm starting a theme, but I promise you this is where this theme ends. The first one from 2011 is Damned by Chuck Palahniuk.
Oh, okay. Wow. Two Chuck Palahniuks for this.
For sure, those are my top two Chuck Palahniuk books that I've read. I haven't read Fight Club, but that's going to be, I think, probably before the 2000s. That might be a 90s.
Yeah, because the movie's from the 90s, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It have to be.
And then my other one from 2011 is 11/22/63 by Stephen King.
That one I have read also.
That one is another long one.
Good.
That one just races through about a guy who basically finds a portal to go back in time, and he tries to stop the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's huge, even by Stephen King standards.
Yeah.
That's a long one, but definitely a page turner.
Yeah.
So good choice. My next one is from 2012. I have one from 2012. I'd also call this one a page turner. It is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This is one that I just couldn't put down. Every chapter's from a different person's perspective. So when one chapter ends, it's like, good. I want to know what happens next, but you have to read two more chapters to get back to that character.
Gotcha, yeah. I've seen the movie, but it didn't leave me with much of an impression. So maybe the book
I like the book
better.
a lot better than the movie. Do you have any from 2012?
I don't have anything from 2012 or 2013.
Me neither, but I do have one from 2014.
So do I.
Okay, you go first.
My 2014 is Men Without Women by Haruki Murakami.
Okay.
Short stories. For sure is my favorite of his and my favorite of his short stories also. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of some good short stories, and I really liked that whole collection and the theme that it presents.
Good choice. Check out our episode on Drive My Car and the movie.
Yeah.
Mine from 2014 is I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai and Christina Lamb. I've talked about that on here before. Another nonfiction pick from me, but definitely one of the most life-changing books that I've read, if that's not too cliche to say.
I have a 2015.
I don't, so go ahead.
My 2015 is A Headful of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. Paul Tremblay is definitely a newer author that we got into because of this channel and our Adaptation Station show, and that was one that I really enjoyed.
Good choice. I'll have to read that one. I have one from 2016.
So do I.
Yep.
So go ahead with yours.
Mine is When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. This one was recommended to me from one of my best friends, Will. Thank you for the recommendation. Another nonfiction pick from me. This is about a medical doctor who also studied literature and philosophy, so it's very well written, but it's also very moving because he gets diagnosed with terminal cancer, and it's his memoir leading up to his death. What is your
my 2016 is a book called After Disasters by Viet Dinh, about told from a few different perspectives of people after an earthquake in I haven't read it since, I think it's India.
Yeah.
I think it's India.
I remember your recommendation.
Yeah, I haven't read it in a few years and I couldn't exactly remember. But I think that's right. It's in India about, the people responding to the disaster and things like that.
Very cool. I have one from 2017.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I mentioned this one on this channel in a book that I want to see as a movie. That is Home Fire by Camila Shamsi. This is a book that is fiction, but it's realistic, and it's about like family drama and politics in the Middle East and England. And it's just every character that you get a perspective from in that book, you feel like you're in their head. So the description blew me away in this book. That's mine from 2017. You don't have
I don't have a 2017.
Do you have a 2018?
I do have a 2018.
Okay, go ahead.
My 2018 is another author that's also already on here.
Okay.
It's The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay.
I was wondering about that.
I'm really liking Paul Tremblay. And that one, it's such a hard story to read, but very good, very fast pace.
Yeah, that was another
really
page turner for me.
A page turner keeps you on the edge of your seat, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Sure. That was 2018.
That was 2018.
Do you have a 2019?
I don't.
I don't either.
2020? I don't. Nope.
My next one is 2021.
Okay.
And that is, another nonfiction one for me. It's called Bravey by Alexi Pappas. She is an Olympic distance runner, and this is her memoir. I read it because I love running and running books, but this one really surprised me because it goes more into her life in some dark ways, and it's a lot about mental health, and it has her own poetry interspersed in it. So I just absolutely loved this book.
Cool.
Do you have any from...
I do have 2022.
Yeah. Cool.
I have two from 2022.
Oh, okay.
And these go together. They're the companion novels by Cormac McCarthy, his last two before he died. The Passenger and Stella Maris. Mm-hmm. My favorite of his, Stella Maris may be the best book, that may be my top favorite book of all time, of all books.
Big recommendation there.
Now, not standing alone, you have to read The Passenger first. It gives you a necessary, backstory setting things up, and then Stella Maris has such an impact to it.
Cool. I have two from 2023.
Okay.
These are my last two.
Yeah, those were my last two.
Oh, that was it? Okay.
That's it. So this is it.
This is the end. None from 2024.
None from 2024.
The first one is La Furia by Maria Sotomayor. This is a collection of poetry from a Spanish poet. My only poetry selection on the list. I'm glad one got included because this one, I loved this one. It starts out with a preface that has no punctuation in it. So when I started it, I was like, this is too hard to read. I'm reading it in a second language to me. I was like, what is this? But then when it gets into the poems, it's like the same thing as the preface, but then split up poetically. And then there's an afterword that kind of explains her thoughts on poetry as like a puzzle that the reader interprets. So I loved it. One of my favorite collections of poetry I've ever read. And then my last one from 2023 is a novel called Where There Was Fire by John Manuel Arias. This one is in English, but it's a Costa Rican author, and it's kind of a historical fiction about, there's multiple generations of characters, but it takes place in Costa Rica about a fire that happens at a banana plantation, how it affects the family, but then there's like a conspiracy about how the fire got started, evil corporation type of stuff. So that's the end of my list and the end of both of our lists.
It is. Yeah? And I have not read any of yours.
Oh,
You've read like 4 of mine.
Yeah, that makes my homework easier.
And so I feel a little bit like I'm slacking on that, because obviously these are books that we bring up at a time or another.
Yeah.
But also a couple of mine were ones that we did for the show, so that's how you've read them already.
Yeah, and we are busy with that show. Gives us a lot of reading.
Yeah, it does. It fills up a big portion of our year, really, when you think about it. Because you also have, it feels like you got a lot of nonfiction on there. It feels like yours are more, they feel more like important books. Mine are like page turner, general, like Stephen King and Paul Tremblay, Chuck Palahniuk,
I didn't do that on purpose. But
no, I mean, it's just what you like.
Goes to our taste. Like we found out on the show, you like horror and stuff like that. I like
That's true.
Kind of classic English teacher.
Well, I do like those books too, and that's where the Cormac McCarthy comes into it. Mm-hmm. It's just that the books that I've liked, I haven't read a lot of new books of those types. I've read more of the classics. Even the nonfiction that I've read, a lot of it becomes newer. Like I think Guns, Germs, and Steel would have made this list if it had not been in the 90s.
Yeah, that's just the thing. I've gotten into reading a lot of newer books and new releases.
Yeah, yes, you definitely are in there. Because you have that much, we didn't prepare for this, but I do have an honorable mention. Okay. Because you had some poetry, some nonfiction. Mm-hmm. One that was very close to making my list was Time and Materials by Robert Hass.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I really liked that one. Mm-hmm. It would just, I think it probably is number 11 on my list, Interesting. So I had to throw that one out there as an honorable mention.
Cool. Maybe we should do a best books of the 20th century. Is that too big of a category?
Oh, that might be... That's huge, you know what I mean?
Just because...
but we could do it.
Praise by Robert Hass is one of my favorite books of all time, so that would easily make it into my best of the 20th century. Yeah, we both have plenty of homework to read from each other's lists, you more so than me.
Yeah.
And you watching at home, check these books out if you haven't read them, and comment below. What are your favorite books from the 21st century?
Yeah, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel to see more of this stuff. And tell your friends to tune in too.
Yeah, you can click another video now. Thank you. Bye.